Yes, we'll take its time.
And it's live.
And it's live.
Merry Christmas.
Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Beer Fridge podcast. As always, your home for real beer, real breweries, real opinions. On this week's episode, we're going to chat some homebrew. We're going to chat what the fuck is fresh ale.
Beer Fridge Podcast.
Hello and welcome to another weekly episode of the Beer Fridge Podcast, your home of real beer, real breweries, real opinions. As always, wherever you listen to this episode, make sure you subscribe, hit that ding-a-ling-a-ling to be notified of all the latest episodes. Drop us a 5-star rating if you're watching on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, or wherever it may be. Make sure you do so as well. Top 9 in the world, by the way. Just saying. My name is Gavin. I've got my usual drinking buddies in the form of Callum, MD, and Scott. Good evening, boys. How we doing?
Hello.
Eve.
Number 9, baby. Number 9.
Yeah, I don't care the legitimacy of that website. I am fucking taking it.
It did take me a while to get the website loaded up and find 8 other podcasts that I felt were worthy of going above us on a list. However, totally worth it.
You've got to go past all the fees to release X's sister or mother-in-law, whatever it is, for wherever it is they're captured, Nigerian princes, any other scam you can possibly think of that you would have received over the internet. Certain things being enlarged, certain things being shrunk.
My boobs are big enough, mate. That's fine.
Bills for various other bits and pieces, and then you eventually get to the list.
You get to the list. You definitely get to the list eventually. We are there. And yeah, like I said, I'll take it. I'll fucking take it. Right, we'll start off as we normally do. Go around the virtual table, see what we're drinking to kick things off.
I'm going to leave the virtual table to go and get a virtual beer.
You go and get a virtual beer. And Callum will kick us off with what he's drinking.
I'm drinking something that's been in the can for a little bit, to be fair. From what I can gather with the dates, it's been in the can since the end of November. And it's a beer from Pentridge, and it's called No Cheesies for Us Miesies. And it's a lovely session drink. And it's, delicious. Vanilla and chocolate added. And the body's great. It's thick and syrupy, not too sweet, loads of coffee flavours before really you get too much sweetness there. It's delicious.
Sounds good, mate.
Getting better as it warms up because it was icy cold out the fridge.
Lovely jubbly. I'm kicking off with a
beer.
It is a beer.
You sure?
Stroke medicine, stroke just liquid metal. Which we've had before. We've spoken about it before. I'm just having this as a warm-up beer. No. But no. 71 Brewing. It's the Luminous Nights. New England double IPA. I just so happened to be.
Enjoy that.
I used to enjoy it as well, and then they must have changed it because it's not as good as it used to be. I'm not saying the first one was good. I'm saying the first one was drinkable. This is. It's drinkable enough, but just not on the same level as it was before. But I have got poised potentially the best dip I've had this year, and I've had putty, and it's not that, and it's a fucking wicked beer from Beak. So looking forward to cracking it open again. It's the second time I'm having it. Incidentally, it was that good the first time. I decided to go back for more. Del, what you got, mate?
This might be my brewery of the year.
Brewery of the year.
And it's Pressure Drop. I just think They make some incredible beers, and I picked this one up originally because I kind of wanted to. Did I say the name? Okay, it's called the Year of the Crab, and it's a 6.5% New England IPA.
Year of the Crab.
Yeah.
Year of the
Good have
Crab.
got a
What you
full
said. I
year
wasn't sure
named
if I
after
heard
me.
that
That's
properly.
good.
I thought there was an S on the end of it, and I was like, but there was just a wee scuff on the can. That was all it is. But this, the New England style for me is, I don't want to say it's gone, it's dead, right? But I feel like it's been overdone and la-di-da. Anyway, so I bought this out of. I'm going to put it to the test again and see. And typical pressure drop. It's phenomenal, but it isn't as. It's not as New Englandy as I would expect it to be, if that makes sense.
Is that why you like it? Because it's not
like,
too New Englandy.
Well, it's not like just in your face, hazy, juicy, pish, too sweet. You know, like just overkill and lactose and just danky, like whatever you want to call it. But it's just like super refreshing IPA. Basically, it is definitely juicy. It's got like kind of peaches and oranges and like all the tropical bingo words that you would come to expect, but the body is just a wicked beer, to be honest with you.
Well, that sounds compared to what your brother's drinking right now, and I think you have words.
Well, Grant's his beer. It doesn't matter how much he gets told. His beer choices are appalling. I don't know how we're brothers when it comes to taste buds. In all honesty, it's atrocious. So, Grant, what is he drinking? Coors.
That beer, Spain via Wrexham.
Oh no, Madrid.
Unreal. Come on, son.
Get it sorted, Grant. Steal some stuff off your brother. Fuck's sake. Do yourself a favour.
Fridge is full.
Gilroy, what you got at your fridge, mate?
I went for something quite easy to start with. I picked it up when I was at Beats at the weekend. It's a Muir beer, I would say, for definite. It's a Swanee Dark Monroe. It's a single hop mild.
Lovely.
It's lovely. Lovely ruby red. Definitely got a bit of hop flavour to it, but it doesn't tell me what fucking hop it is. So there we go.
Taste buds, bud.
I know. I'm going to work that out. What it is good.
On that note,
tells me more about the 89 road than it does about what hops is in it, which is no worries. The island of Orkney has no Monroes, but most of our beer trundles past many of them on its southbound journey down the infamous A9 road. Dark Monroe is a refreshing dark beer. Shock. Pouring almost ruby red, it has a delicate coffee aromas and a light sweet flavour. Bag your first Orkney Monroe. No hops. But it's single hopped, which is good. So whatever hop it is, there's only one of it.
Well, talking about
that, it just make it a wee bit more complex and interesting over other milds, I would say.
The talking about hops in the can and on the whackage and stuff, we mentioned it on last week's podcast with regards to Stuart's beer, Up or Under.
Up, under and over.
And under, I think.
Aye.
Over and under.
Underground, overground.
Yeah.
Wobbling free.
Under and over.
The Oak Team IPAs of Wimbledon coming our way.
Brewed by Uncle Bulgaria.
Uncle Bulgaria, exactly. Funnily enough, the team at Stuart did listen to that podcast, as they do regularly. Appreciate you guys listening to the number 9 best beer podcast in the world, just saying once again. And they messaged and said they will make sure for next time to rectify that and put the hops on the cans. So there we go.
Otherwise, we can't even fucking describe it properly because we don't know what's. Is that just evidence?
In order to look professional, what we need to do is Google the hops, get the tasting notes, and then tell you that that's what we've tasted when we drink beer.
Or, I mean,
terrible.
Or not, as the case may be.
Trust the taste buds. Go.
Shoot us a cheeky wee email in advance.
Right, or that,
would be
or
good.
that. They'll probably come back to that. Would be just sign up to their mailing list. In fairness, right then, let's get cracking with what's on the list.
Before you jump in, Gavilar,
yes,
can I shout something out for the top?
if you must.
So
No, by all means, actually.
no, well, I'm going to do it because I feel like you make fun of the brewery that I work for on a regular off air.
No,
Oh, fuck, here we go, here we go.
that's my first thing on my list.
Well, of course it is, but I'm going to do it because I wasn't sure if it was on your list or no. So,
Go on then.
but my West Brewery in Glasgow, who I obviously work for, that if you didn't know, now you know, sort of thing, celebrated their 18th birthday, excuse me. So the brewery is now legal drinking age, and it was on Sunday. So based in the Templeton building in Glasgow, and has been since day dot. And I just wanted to give it a wee cheeky shout out, to be honest, because they make very good beer, and as much as the boys will make fun of it now and again, that's mainly making fun of me rather than the beer. So I can take that. And however, there's tons of free beer that we're handing out.
Sorry.
In all
Scott's just
seriousness,
changed his name.
And
in all seriousness, I think for any brewery in the 21st century to last 18 years is pretty decent, to be fair. Particularly coming into the market and the marketplace that West have. Brewing lagers and stuff in Scotland. It's a really, really set in its ways marketplace. It's really hard to try and
understatement of the year.
I mean, a Scottish lager drinker wanting to drink lager, it's really hard for them to look past Tennent's, and particularly when if you don't want to drink Tennent's, you're kind of saturated. Even since the early 2000s, you're saturated with things like Carling and Foster's and Kronenberg and things like that. So it's quite an achievement that they've managed to carve out a niche in the market for themselves, and to last the pace has been pretty good. So well done, West.
I hope that says happy birthday, West. But
Absolutely right.
There it is.
Geburtstag.
No, in
Happy
fairness,
birthday, everyone.
you can't like you said, for a brewery to last that long, they're doing something right. Something right.
So if you've not tried the beer, like cheeky like shout out, I suppose, go to westbeer.co.uk or westbeer.com. Can never remember the website, which is terrible. But I'd go try some of the beers. It's, dare I say it, it's traditional German style beer with a Glaswegian twist on it. But everything's brewed
Rabsy twist.
Rabsy twist. That could be the new collab. Rabsy twist. And it's definitely worth, like you say, there's always space in fridge for good lager at the end of the day. And
I think the other thing to note there, Peter, like people listen to the podcast and watch it on Facebook or YouTube at the moment, or whatever it may be. These beers are regularly available north of the border in Scotland in supermarkets. I'm sure Morrison's has got an abundance of West, so you can't. There's no excuse not to try it. Give it a go. Even down here, actually, I'm sure I got. Is it G40?
G40, yeah.
G40 Waitrose. This is 2 years ago. This is before mortgage, and this is before child. Waitrose does not get entered anymore. Just FYI. This is before all of that. But yeah, you can get it out of there as well.
I seem to remember
Tell you
drinking
what-
West in Cornwall as well at one point. So it does get about. So they're doing well.
There's trouble.
As you say,
Right, I think we've talked
much
about
to
these
my much
fucking
to,
cunts for long enough. So
much to my annoyance, I've never been through to their space, which obviously is the best place to try it. It's probably
Yeah.
the best, and it's some space by all accounts. And I've seen pictures and seen videos and stuff online, and it's a good place to head through to. It's somewhere different in Glasgow, somewhere you could spend a whole afternoon. Seems pretty spacious and friendly, and you can go in there and have a decent afternoon.
Mark said, "Is it friendly?"
No,
I'm
he's
never
not
there,
there.
so I'm
That's
never
fine.
there. So it's fine.
He's the guy that goes to everywhere else that sells it. So if you want to get peace, go there. If you want
Go
to
there.
avoid market costs, go there, which is where we should start having meetings and stuff like
That's
that.
where we should just start the podcast for. Just do it for
We
this.
should start the podcast.
Which would
there, 'cause we
actually,
definitely
side
need
note, would
peace.
actually be fucking cool as fuck.
It would be good.
See in the tap room, Mark, is every tap west, or they have like guest stuff
Everything.
as well?
No, for the most part, it's all west. There is a
Right.
few guest. There's a couple of guest lines, and there's been a couple of ciders.
So the answer to that
and
question
stuff
was
like
yes. Then
Yeah.
Every
No,
now and
no,
then.
but it's mainly been the same beer that's been on the guest line. It's mainly been cider.
oh, right, okay. I'm with you.
The as Mark said though, parting shot. There's always room in the fridge for good beer, and once you've drunk all the West, you'll have plenty of room for it.
There it
Happy
is.
birthday.
Happy birthday, indeed. Happy birthday to West Brewery, indeed. Going from a brewery that Mark works for to a potential one that he soon would love to work for, his own brewery, obviously. And a question on your homebrew, mate. You sent some pictures through the week last week. Some bits on Instagram as well. You had a wee bit of an
we
issue.
had the fire.
and
We had the fire engines.
we had the fire. It looks like
Yeah.
you're doing a wee bit of an experimenty with kind of switching things up, which is
We
kind of
did some additions.
cool.
Well,
It's a crack.
I think I said to you before, there was a wee scorching issue as part of the boil when I brewed
You bum, you
originally, and a bit of the grain kind of fell through, and it kind of obviously got stuck on the bottom of the kettle, and it just obviously had a bit of an issue. And then I kind of prayed and hoped. So I purposely over hopped, especially in the hop stand aroma phase, to try and navigate what I assumed was going to be the burnt toast vibes from the flavour. But so anyway, when I came and bought on it yesterday, it was just a bit of a typical brewing bottling. You know what it's like there's bottles everywhere. You're sanitizing stuff. You're trying. It's all fun and games. And when I tasted it the first time, it was pretty bitter, which I came to expect. But when it warmed up, it just got like burnt toast there and burnt toast there. And I was just thinking, that was the scotch, and you could smell it. So anyway, the funny thing is, Wynn's tasted it, and she thought, it's actually all right. Like, it's not overly bitter. And I was a bit like, okay. But she was like, I kind of get a wee bit of the burnt out vibe to it. So I thought, if it's going to be semi-palatable for someone that doesn't drink beer at all, then let me bottle it. I'll carb it like I was going to anyway. So I just carved it, bottled it. So I bottled 7 or 8 bottles of it that way.
All it's
And then
costing
thought to
you is the
myself, I'm not
sugar
really
at
going to
that
be
point,
happy with it
so-
if I bottle the whole shebang this way. So so started, as you would do, I was off yesterday, so I had plenty of time. I was sitting Googling, and I'm like, what have I got in the house? I could add extra sugar, but if I had too much sugar, then that adds to the carbonation, and then I've got exploding bottles everywhere, and
Nice.
that's not the next thing. So I thought, no. So I had I had a big batch of lime sitting for birthdays and for gin and tonics and that, and just thought, right, screw it. So I again done a bit of Googling and seemed to would have no impact on carbonation. If anything, it would maybe tame a wee bit of the sugar. So if you were going to put some in, so I'd done all this before I bottled the first batch, to be fair. So I kind of made sure I just put the same level of priming for the whole 3 batches I done, and then basically just added the second batch I done had a little bit of lime in it, and then the third batch I done had basically 2.5 times that amount of lime in it, and just went, fuck it.
We're going to get a Mark Mexican lager.
Basically, so
Mi cerveza.
Marxican.
Marxican. There you go.
So basically, the reason that you had that unfortunate incident with the scorching was because you tried a different mash technique. Now, if you go back and listen to the podcast with Budvar, that kind of explains the process that Mark tried to undertake the decoction mash.
No. The decoction had nothing to do with
was it not?
No. So the decoction itself is done separately and was added into the mash tun. But basically, like, so you know my brew kit. So you've got the grain basket, and but under the grain basket you've got a hop filter on the top of the
heating element.
On the top of the heating element, and then above that again you've got the secondary sort of like grain collector, if that's the best way, sort of sits on a couple of wee stands, and it gives you a bit of protection, and just there's been a bit of grain or whatever has managed, like I done it on Whirlpool.
Condoms, basically.
What was that?
Condoms.
Is it filled in through the?
It's came down
gap at one of the sides or something.
When I've been maybe when I was doing when I sparged or whatever, because I had done the decoction mash. I sparged far more than I would normally just to get the like.
So see, when you were doing your decoction mash, obviously you're mashing in your kit in the grain father kit, so you can't boil part of your mash in the same kit then surely while you're mashing. So how did you do that? Did you take that out and put it in a pot and boil it on the cooker?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly that. So basically, it had the weight.
I mean, you didn't buy the Grain Sun.
I didn't bring the Grain Cousin, mate. The Grain Cousin.
So, anyway, and the roundabout way that I was getting round to asking a question was that you tried this new technique to try and, do something different with your brew. And as I say, we spoke to Budvar about the benefits of that process. And do you feel like you've achieved anything that you wouldn't normally have done with your ordinary process? Is there anything better about this beer than previous ones that you've made? I mean, obviously, it's kind of difficult to overlook this, spectre of burnt toast. But is there any positives you can take from the experience of doing this different kind of mash?
I felt like when I tasted it yesterday, the body of the beer, like considering it's 5.5%. It felt really creamy, like yesterday, and it's the exact same. It was the exact same grain bill as what went into the previous beer that you had not that long ago. Obviously there's additional hops and everything, so flavour, but which wasn't in the first batch. But the body difference and the colour difference is like honestly night and day compared to the last batch to the other batch. Now, yeah, obviously there's a few variables to that. Again, ABV slightly higher.
And the colour, part of the colour might come for the scorch, but not definitely not all of the colour.
But the colour of the grain that was in the pot, like when what was boiled, was like the darkness of that going in naturally had an effect on the overall colour of the mash. So
very good.
It's really difficult to say, but for the time difference, and like brewing at home's like, it's the pros and cons of it is it takes all day, but the pros and the con of it takes all day. You know what I mean? Like it's and realistically, the extra step. And if I was making this particular kind of style of beer, anything like IPA or lager, like kind of pale orientated, like for the extra 20 minutes, like, because realistically, the mash steps that I'd done, I basically had it at 50 degrees for half an hour. and then took it out. I took like a quarter of it out and boiled it for the other half an hour, and then it went into mash for an hour. So it's realistically it's 1 hour longer than normal, which in the grand scheme of it is you can make that time up because quite easily. So I would do it. I would definitely do it again. So fingers crossed. Who knows what the lime will bring, but it's, if it just helps kind of taint a little bit of the. It wasn't burnt, like it was smoky is probably the best way to describe it. But if I said smoky to use on the group chat, the first faces that everybody would have made would have been like, you know what I mean? Whereas,
it's not a flavour that a lot of people like.
Correct.
But everybody likes jam on their toast, so that wee bit of fruit might work wonders, mate.
Fingers. Well, the thing is,
lime curd.
Lime curd. Well, the thing is, and I said that like when I was bought it, I was like, it's not for anybody else. Like it's for me, and it's for people that listen. If you want to try it, and if I feel like it's actually palatable, I'm happy to give you a bottle. And and realistically, the way I've done it is I'm going to have about 8. I've got about 8 bottles of 9 bottles of each. Like so, I can do a group of 9 trio of tasting. Basically, after that, it's gone, and then we're on to the next thing. So
what are you thinking for the next one then? Or is that you not even thought about it yet?
I just like that kind of particular style, like overly like torrefied wheat with a bit of Pilsner malt. It's a style that I'd like to drink just now, so it's probably something I'll go back to. My only concern is the score. So I gave it a good old scrub, as you can imagine. So I might need to just see what it's like heating it up. But if the score is going to continue, then the brew kit might turn into be a dark beer only kit, and we just have to use it for its charm and work around it. But it looked pretty. It was pretty clean, and I say there was no sort of anything that was stuck when I left. So I'm hoping, and I managed to get myself another little grain catcher, if that's the best word for it. But yeah, like a little condom for my grandfather, mate. Basically,
that's what it sounds like. Me condom split. It sounds good though. It sounds interesting. Like it sounds like with this one,
the process worked. I'm glad the decoction stuff worked. And any issue the blip that you had has got nothing to do with that. That's good because it means that then you've kind of that bit, which was the variable you were aiming at, worked. So, and you got, like, if you're saying it's creamier and it's got a bit of body to it, even although it's a slightly higher percentage, it would be good to then go into, I don't know, would you brew the same recipe again, but without any additions, without the decoction, to see what it tastes like, what the body's like in comparison again, but without any additions? Because I know last time you did the same grain bill, but it would be good to continue with that grain bill if you like it and it's something that you like drinking. Do any variables and dial in without any additional stuff in it and really nail it for where it is, and then you can start adding in a new technique again afterwards. But I didn't mind drinking wheat beer all summer with you to get through and dial it right in until you get a version regular that you're happy with, and then you can go back to some of your experiments if you like.
You can just picture Scott in a sun lounger in your driveway, Mark, and just you coming in going, right, there's one brew. Nah, no there yet. Nah, try that one. Nah, no there yet. Just no. Just keep them coming.
Come down every 4 weeks just to taste if you like. That's fine. Fine by me.
It's probably not a bad idea in the grand scheme of things. Is going
because you're liking the style. You've got the ingredients there. You know what ingredients to get. You know what your brew kit's capable of. Dial that one style, and if you really like it, like it's not a style you're likely to go off, considering your deliriums and various other bits and pieces that you've been trying recently and taking a real liking for. So it's not anything you're going to get pissed off with or fed up with, like a pale or like someone else. It's a good one to go after, and if you can nail that and say, well, whenever anybody asks me, I can turn out a wheat beer like that. Everybody's like, a lot of people are going to drink a wheat beer, you know.
I don't think it's as wheaty as I would want it to be, but that's probably more than the pills. And when I spoke to Brett about it at Strangers, and I showed him the recipe, he was like, "Your recipe is basically pretty split, like spot on in terms of like 60-40, like wheat to pale. But he's like, maybe just because it's more Pilsner malt, it's going to be a bit like drier. But like that's the two styles that I like. Like, you know, if Pilsner and wheat beer are probably, I'm going to drink a boatload of these two styles during the summer. So if I can infuse them to make a beer, then it's what's good. But anyway, that's what it's. Mate, this is the part that I love about it, is that you don't really know. You've got an idea. You can read all the books you want. Like, honestly, look, this is about one. I'm still on getting the OGs in.
Oh, hold on.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice. Oh, there you go.
it is Big Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the James Moxon book that's open now as well. Like, honestly, it's just it turns into a bit of obsession with me when it comes to this, and like, which is good and bad. But yeah,
It's exciting though. Like it's like it's the bit where we've been down the road where with the beer that you guys brewed with Bowden, right? We've been down that road. We've brewed that beer, the dark what was that?
Black
I
IPA.
forgot. Yeah, thank you.
Papa.
And the beer. And we've tasted a beer that the podcast is brewed alongside a brewery, and we've watched people brew it, drink it, and that excitement, we've had that, and we've experienced that wee bit of ecstasy when somebody drinks something that you've made, and it's awesome, and it's something that once you've got a
Infectious.
taste of it, you want it again, and you want it again, and you want it again.
Well, for all the people that we're speaking to, and I'm not going to mention it on there online, because if they're listening, then you'll know who. But let's get these in the diary, these dates sorted, so there will be more cans and bottles and kegs floating around that we've had some influence over, and it's not just me brewing in my garage, you know, for us lot, as in the small group of us that are nearby or whatever. But
I like what you did there.
if you don't know, you still don't know.
You
But
still
those
don't
that do know.
That's how we seed. See, I tell you what, folks. Honestly, see in like a year's time, you'll listen to that back and you're like, he fucking told me then. He told me then.
That's it. If you don't know,
That was when he lost it.
That's
let's be honest, that ship has.
That's when he went round the twist.
I've got to say that ship sailed and sunk, mate. You know what I mean?
Long gone.
Right. I think the podcast's been far too amiable for the first 30 minutes.
You want a switch of pace and new beers?
I need to throw some shade.
Shade, throw it.
Yep, I think it's time
What do you know,
for
like?
the shade, the beer fridge shadecast segment, and it's price. It's how much money I was having to spend at the weekend.
That doesn't sound like you, Cal. More than about
No.
price, son.
I was out on Friday in Glasgow, and I was out on Saturday.
Well, that's where the problem started.
There
Imagine
you
being
go.
outside.
He can't laugh. He's that upset.
So I've got a half-naked child coming into a room to say night to me, so that's why I have to
Sorry,
look at.
I can get rid of you. Don't worry. I'll get rid of you.
So
Yes! Woo! Oh, he's
I'll
back.
put you back.
So I was out on Friday in Glasgow, and I was out on Saturday in Edinburgh, and one of the party that I was out with was drinking non-alcoholic beer.
Right.
So
Wrong.
they went to various places, and one in particular that I want to highlight, because we've sang its praises on numerous occasions on this podcast, and that's Brewhemia in Edinburgh.
Mm-hmm.
And went into Brewhemia and ordered. I got 2 pints of Stewart's Nitro 80 Shilling, which was sublime, as it was the last time I had it. Absolutely fantastic beer. And Edinburgh price $6.20 a pint, which I thought was, well, you know, I'm quite happy to pay that. It's Edinburgh. It's expensive, but it's Edinburgh, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too fussed about that. And I says, what alcohol-free beers have you got? And he pointed me in the direction of the fridge, and I looked, and I seen the Budvar non-alcoholic. And having tried that and I actually quite enjoyed it, I thought, yep, right, I'm going to. There you go, Bud Lime.
That's not the one, though.
No. It's just the
Old fashioned.
It was the non-alcoholic one that we got sent.
Okay, apologies.
And I quite enjoyed it. You know, I don't. You know, I don't. There you are. That's it. That one. And it stands up to pretty much any other non-alcoholic beer that I've had. Obviously aside Mash Gang and stuff, but it was a 330ml bottle.
Brought tears to a glassy.
It's a 330ml bottle. I want to ask each of the three of you, how much do you think I paid for a 330ml bottle of Budvar non-alcoholic beer?
330. Well, I was going to say 420.
Yeah, I'll take the over 5 for sure because I know Edinburgh prices, and actually I think I know roughly the price. So
£5.20.
Oh, it's £1 off. Cunt.
£5. No, I'm sorry. Right. I realise that profit's king and all the rest of it, right? But Bohemia are taking tank fresh beer from Budvar. They must be getting that non-alcoholic beer for 330ml bottles. If they're paying £1 for that bottle of beer, I'll be fucking well surprised if they're paying that. Particularly when we know that we can get that in a supermarket for what, 150 for a 500ml bottle. Never mind 330ml.
Put it in perspective. How much did you pay last week for the Budvar Black Lager?
Right, 169.
Aye.
169 in home bargains for the Black Lager at 4.5%. It's just, I think it's a fucking disgrace that a 330ml bottle of non-alcoholic lager cost me £5.20. It's just it's an embarrassment. It really is.
yeah.
I mean, disagree with me. Go, disagree with me if you want, but no fucking way.
I find it hard. Like the price is a bit ridiculous. I've got to admit, but
and then the next round, I went up.
It was for 500.
The next round I went up. I got a 500ml can of Erdinger non-alcoholic beer for £4.80. So where's the fucking sense in that? It's just it does not make sense to me at all, and it's just taking advantage of people that are out and wanting to maybe stay off the beer or try something non-alcoholic maybe as a stopgap or whatever.
Here's a question. A question off Callum Gripe Corner. So is that going to be something then? Like we're pushing non-alcoholic stuff on people, or the market is, and it's growing. We know it's growing because there's specific breweries just brewing non-alcoholic beer, which you wouldn't have seen 5 years ago. Is doing that in terms of the price of a non-alcoholic beer being pretty much the same price as an alcoholic beer, just going to put people off completely, even going out. We know that pubs and stuff are struggling and tap spaces, etc. If you're still going to have to spend the same amount of money you would for a full alcoholic beer as a non-alcoholic, is that just going to turn punters away?
But I can't. It's getting me totally raging again. Like the price difference between a pint of keg tank fresh Budvar in that pub. The price difference between that for a pint and a 330ml bottle of non-alcoholic for the same brewery, it was less than £1 of difference between the two.
I don't disagree.
Is that not because the ingredients are the same? The time in the brew kettle and the time in the time to do whatever it's doing in the tanks is exactly the same.
Pish.
Oh, it is. It's the same. So it's the same. It's the same outlay that goes into it. So I can only imagine what I would like to have seen. What I would like to see is the cost price between. Forget the tank fresh stuff. You've got to put that. You've got to put that away at the road. How much would you pay?
They're not making money off the tank beer, mate.
How much would they pay for what would be the cost price on a bottle of normal Budvar by comparison. I don't think the price difference would be too much different. In comparison, like if you take what Budvar charge for it.
Mm-hmm.
That black lager sat there because it sat somewhere else. Somebody's bought that before and not been able to shift it and punt it, which is why it's ended up in home bargains at 169. So that's an outlier. I'm just
no,
meaning,
but it's no really
if you
though,
look,
because if you go to any supermarket, I mean the black lager aside, right? Ordinary Budvar and home bargains is the same price. It's 169 for a 500ml bottle, but that's the same if you go to Lidl. It's the same price, you know.
how much is the alcohol-free Budvar in Tesco?
In home bargains, it's cheaper.
Right.
What think about the economy of scale in that though? Like Redeeming that mentioned how much they were brewing, and we're using Budvar for an example, but brewing, 12,000, 20,000 litres of a beer, and then fermenting it for months, and then there's the cost effect, like aspects to all of that. Now, like, it's a long way. I'm not really justifying £5 for a 330ml bottle, right? However,
I don't think that's justifiable either. But
if you
can get closer than you can, Cal.
But the thing is,
you get closer.
The thing I want to mention is that the pubs are going through a really difficult time at the moment, and there's a number of reasons for that, right? But one of the big reasons is that the younger generation are not drinking beer. They're not drinking at all alcohol, right? But they're still going out and spending money. Like, they still need people in. So the variety that is available to people now, and like, I have the thought of how much, and we're picking on Bohemia just because you were in, but I have no idea what their electric bill will be and all the rest of it. And I know that's not the customer's problem. However, with staff rates going up in April, with VAT issue, or the price of the beer going up in April, with raw materials, with all the rest of it, right? The cost price to making X beer has has jumped up a shit ton, like, without me going like too far into that. But one of the coming back to my point on the younger crowd now are still going out, right? And they're still filling pubs, but they're drinking non-alcoholic. They're drinking non-alcoholic spirits.
So they need to get their money back somehow. And
it's all about GP. It is. And if you can make 70-80% on a bottle of Budvar, and people, like, if you didn't shift it at $5.25, it'll be in the fridge next week at $4.50. And then you find the sweet spot. But
it will only, mate. It will only be in the fridge at $4.50. It will only, because who's asking the price? Who's asking? Who's going to the bar and saying, how much is your Budvar non-alcoholic? How much is your Erdinger non-alcoholic?
I don't know.
They're going to the bar. Who does that? Who does that?
A lot of people do that now.
Nah, surely not.
Honestly, the younger, and I keep saying the younger generation because it makes us sound old.
The youth.
But they are.
The young are not
pubs that I deal with, mate. The amount of pubs,
that is absolute guff.
The amount of pubs that I deal with that said, I can't take it off, it's because it's my cheapest beer. Or what about bottle? What's your cheapest? I can't take it out because it's my cheapest. How? Because people ask, what do you have that is the cheapest? Okay, I've got X and I've got Y. But, and that's not how we were. Like, but then we were growing up, we were buying, we got Miller Genuine Draft for £1.16 at delivery. You know what I mean? Like, and I guarantee you, if Miller was in draft now, I bet it would be a really good pint, and I bet it would be like $5.50 a pint.
Fuck.
Remember the rage when it was used to. What was the price change that killed us in the pub? That was
when it went up to $2.50
we ended up with all the. Aye, that was it. Because you ended up with nonsense remember we used to put all the 5 pences and all the dross in the.
It was the 20 pences. It was the 20 pences. But Mark and I used to go around on a Tuesday, and we would always be first, and it was £2.40 a pint at that point, and we would always have a 20 pence left over because it was the round was £4.80, and we'd per fiver, and we'd get a 20 pence, and Scott would put the 20 pence in the bag, and after a number of weeks we would have enough 20 pences to get essentially a free pint.
No.
So that was the first time. That was the first
No, I
time
would love to
I
hear.
felt-
You know, I
felt
would love to hear. If you're Dark Alan, if Billy's still watching, how much was a pint back in the day?
I'll
'Cause
tell you a story that my dad.
Here's all
Oh,
this going
Christ on me! I was going to say we'll get this. Here we'll get the story about the. You used to be able to get 2 pints or 3. Was it 3 pints?
I can't remember.
Was
what
it,
it
Two
is the
pints.
story 3 pints, Mark? 2 pints,
3 pints
and 2
indeed,
packets of crisps.
And
3 pints.
3 pints of 3 pints of 70, 10 and 70, and 3
That's it.
packets of crisps
That's the one.
for £1 was my
There you
dad's.
go.
The one.
For that,
Give my
but-
dad give him a few scoops and
In
ask him about
fairness-
pint prices, so you'll get the story.
In fairness, in fairness, the bar was a keg, an old door.
No, it was the
Keg, an old
Murray.
door and a box of
It was the
crisps.
old Murray up,
And-
up in Port. It's still there. Like,
That's it.
probably
was-
still
it
the
was,
same.
It was one keg, one old door, on its end, on top of the keg, one tap
Because
on top,
he used
and in the middle of a ploughed field.
he used to laugh
£1,
because he
3
says,
pints, 3
no,
packets of crisps.
it used to be lager. I'm taking that back. It used to be lager that they drank, but
Mhm.
then the price went up on the lager. So that's why my dad started drinking 70, because the price was cheaper to keep the price the pint price down.
Because he's a tight ass.
maintain the pound, maintain the pound rate.
Maintain the
The,
pound.
What was
Go
I
then,
going to say? Back then, though, the way you could do that, obviously, it was in the past, so it was older. But we're talking about the beer and stuff like that. The beer didn't have to go. The beer didn't have to go hundreds of miles to get to
No.
where it needed to be delivered.
It went down
So
the
it
road.
was, if it was Tennant's Lager or it was Thingway, it was along the road. And the 3
Mhm.
packets of crisps, right reason or none, were either Highlander or fucking Golden Wonder, in which case they come to 5 minutes.
Highlander crisps.
Highlander crisps, probably. So they're like on your doorstep. So it's moved only 10 centimetres. No wonder you could get 3 pints and 3 packets of crisps for £1. Because it's
My dad,
It's
my dad,
comfy.
my dad tells
it's
us
come
like,
to
you're
one
talking
door either side.
I know. What
talking
a
about
beer
stories, and if he's listening, he'll maybe chip in. But he tells a story about when they used to drink in the Masons in Bathgate, and they had a promotion where every time you bought 2 pints, you got a free packet of crisps, and every time you got 3 packets of crisps, but every time you accumulated 3 packets of crisps, you got a free pint. And there was weeks and weeks gone by, and then there was more crisps than you could eat, and there was weeks and weeks gone by, and the office just getting filled with black bags full of crisps, and his boss had to. This was his work colleagues that he was drinking with, and his boss had to bring them in and have a serious conversation about the amount of crisps that they were eating. I'm
Nothing to do with
I'm
the
worried.
16 pints that went down before
Exactly.
it.
I'm worried about the amount of crisps that he's eating.
Okay.
Crisps.
I put on the chat while we're having those conversations. Favorite beers of the year so far, and James is popped a comment in there saying the Kona Big Wave has
Oh, nice, James.
been his favorite beer of the year so far.
I've
No,
not had that
yeah.
one, I don't think.
Oh,
That's good.
Kona's an OG, man. That's like a proper.
Kona Big Wave is that no cave? That's a Cave Direct number, is it not?
I think so.
Kona Big Wave.
James does have I don't know if he would have if his American friends would have helped him out there, because James actually runs Across the Pond the network with all the sports. So there's a wee plug for you, James. So but he might have a few hooks, but that's a definite OG for American Guinness style beers.
Well,
just
if-
while I'm blathering
Oh,
on here,
goodness.
Miguel, you drank my beer of the year last night, I think, or on Sunday night.
What did I? The Tug?
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye. Is that it? Is that your favourite?
Aye.
It was very good. I
It's
must agree.
phenomenal.
It was excellent. I think.
This is my
I think
fourth one.
the Powder Monkey Westie. It's obviously known as not at the same prestige, but I would say it's up there in terms of bitterness and depth of flavour. It's really good.
100%.
The green
Agreed.
can. The
Yes.
was it Charge or something? Is it no, is it?
Monkey Charge?
Aye, that's good. And the collab with Sheep and Wolves Clothing, which you also got when I dropped it off.
I've got that in the
weekend, is
fridge. I was going to have
excellent.
that next, actually. But
It's
Love
very
it, mate.
good.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Very
I'm
good.
milking this. But that's Pressure Drop for me are a brewery I have overlooked so many times. And I know you've mentioned the old Alligator Tugboat a few times, and I've just been like, it sounds great, it sounds great. And I've tried it on keg once, and I knew it was a tasty beer, but their beer, like when I got the box Nat delivered, it's been.
See, the thing for me with Alligator Tugboat, which I think just sets it aside, it puts itself in the bracket of, it just goes, I'm an IPA. Doesn't tell you it's West, doesn't say it's this, it's saying an IPA. You have it and you go, this is an old school IPA. It's bitter, but fuck, man, this is the third can I will be having of Alligator Tugboat tonight because it's fucking ridiculous. Another beer that I want to mention, which could be, it's going to end up on the list of beers of the year for me personally, at least. And no surprise, in fairness, when you see the breweries that are in this collab, and it is in the form of Beak, Rivington, and Track. Okay, I mean, fucking Christ on a bike.
It's like the Harlem Globetrotters of beer, to be fair.
It essentially is. It's called Triangles. It's a double IPA. It's 8%. I put a review up on our Instagram page. By all means, go and check it out. And this blew the tits off me. On I think it was Friday or Saturday night when I had it. Lavish quantities of Galaxy Motueka and new season hard selected Citra.
New season hard selected Citra. How's that different to your
No soft Citra was harmed in the making of this beer.
No, it's no soft Citra. It's hard selected. Does that mean they went up and kicked it off the plant or something?
Hard selected.
So we're getting OJ vibes, orange juice vibes, not OJ. That one with the gloves. Lemon curd and ripe flat peaches. Why are the peaches flat?
Because that's a type of peach.
All right, cheers, mate.
A peach that's like, as opposed to it being like that, it's like that.
Oh, no, okay.
It's
Does
not.
that make a
But
difference?
the squash peaches.
Aye, it looks like somebody sat on it.
Right, okay. And this honestly, from the just opening the can, smelling it, tasting it, it fucking blew the tits off me. Absolutely loved it.
Go grab one then.
One of the best dippers I've had this year. To an extent of going, and I wrote it on the Instagram review. Is it better than putty? Thank you, sir.
There's flat peaches. What are they?
There's flat peaches.
What's their
That
Sunday
was-
name?
Flat peach.
Flat peach.
Peach flat. Peach flat.
Peach flat.
So yeah, if you
Saffron
get a
peach.
chance, if you get a chance to pick up this Beak
Triangles.
collaboration beer between Track, Rivington, and Beak called Triangles, do so. This should be more of a hype beer than fucking putty. I'm just saying. But we know that's just a marketing genius. So
You ken what else is better than putty?
fucking, oh my god, yes,
That was super good.
and
I
yes.
finally opened it.
7.6.
So it's Brew One, Nelson,
This beer ever.
Galaxy, Brew One, and Nelson. Oh yes.
It's fucking amazing.
7.6,
Brew-
so it's light. It's just fucking fully flavour, peaches, pineapple. Just tremendous beer.
Brew
Do you
one a hop that's kind of fallen off a wee bit, but I would say
Yeah.
that's amazing.
I actually didn't like it. You know how it made its
What?
like tour
Popular
at one
one.
time. And
Or
I
the
remember
hop,
trying.
right.
It's like you're fucking
Imagine
mental.
having beef. Imagine having beef with a hop.
No.
Tough one.
Well, It's kind of how I roll, to be honest. Let's be honest. But I remember us trying.
Work outside the firm, he's fucking blackers.
Blackguards.
Shite.
No.
Fuck
No,
Brew One. Fuck
Don't
Brew.
want that funk of Brew One or something like that. You know what I mean? It was. I just always felt like it was like rusty tails. But then I've tried it recently, and I'm like, it's actually, you're obviously getting something, especially when it's mixed with, the old My Mate Nelson. You know what I mean? Like, it's obviously doing something right. So,
honest to God, that is one of the smoothest beers I've potentially ever had.
It's delicious.
It's
Very
like
good.
shilk in a glass.
Speaking of rusty tails,
no.
Oh no.
right?
David.
I was in a shop. Oh,
No.
Hamilton's Nitro Stout in a London couple of weeks. Yeah. Well,
Hamilton are a good
Darby.
brewery, like
Nice.
Darby.
If David Nichol could tell us how much that pint was, that'll send a few members of this podcast into absolutely
No, no. Guarantee that's six. I'm going to guess 670.
it might make me
no.
feel.
Nah, no way. That's a £7 or £8 pint.
It's going, but I would have been pushing £8 there. Like, So I was in a shop the other day, and behind the counter, it being Scotland, and in particular, the central belt of Scotland, there was the obligatory 2 shelves of our favourite tonic wine, Buckfast. Right. The question that I want to ask you: have you seen the latest Scottish competitor to take on our? There you are, David.
That's £7.
To take on our favourite tonic wine. Have you noticed this, Scott, Mark, Gavin? Have you noticed the latest addition to the tonic wine shelf?
Ali, I mean, I'm pure these days, and this will speak volumes. I'm a Marks and Spencer's purist these days, so I've not been in anywhere that sells anything fortified.
Can't hide money, can you?
Other than port.
Other than port
or sherry.
Just, I mean, the in Marks and Spencer's, it's just caviar they have at the till.
Right, okay, that's your impulse buy it.
Sorry, I've not been in day to day to see what's there. What is it?
It being my favourite hop and everything, there was a bottle next to the Buckfast that said El Dorado. And I thought,
I've seen El Dorado.
What the fuck's that? Right? So I googled it when I got home, and El Dorado is a tonic wine made in Scotland.
I've seen El Dorado.
I didn't know this. So the next time I'm in day to day, I'm going to have to buy a wee half bottle of El Dorado just to see what it's like, and I'll report back.
Yeah. I've got the can.
If there's any of the beer fridge faithful that have tried El Dorado tonic wine, then please get in touch and let us know.
I've got a wee cheeky can of Buckfast that I got at the trade event last week. They're doing the wee 330ml, like thin 330s that you would get like gin and tonics.
Right.
Like you now get canned wine.
Canned wine. And might add, they have a wee cheeky 5, so that's 14% Buckfast in a can. And then they've got
fucking tremendous.
They've got a wee cheeky.
What number is it?
I've got. I did ask the boy about the numbers, and I can tell you that the number means deadly squat. Do you still
track it off here?
So the lower the number, that would have been the numbers were basically the batches that running like the order from the bottler, but they always bottled in like from 1 to I think it was 24 or something or 32 or something. He said, and anyway, so that was the first thing I asked him. Like, what's all about what number is it, mate? He was like, "Fuck off." But basically, so the number 1. So basically, if you think about it coming out of a fermenter, number 1 was like at the bottom, so they deemed it as like the thicker stuff, and realistically, there was no difference at all. It was just, but he was like, "You've no idea."
We've all seen the local miscreants. We've all seen the local miscreants in the shop, searching through the fridge, looking for their favourite number. Oh, it's a number 7. No, they want that. Give me a number 4. I'll take that.
You mean the local wine experts, the vintners? of
Indeed.
that were scouring.
Let me
scouring
alter the
stocks
position
for
of my
for the,
hat
for the top
for this
vintage.
conversation. There we
Aye.
go. That's it.
Yeah, I'll go get like
What's it?
if we're going to do a segment about it, I've got the tins ready. I'm in. So
It's the one with the lemonade in it that I can't understand.
this is the
I've
point.
never
I'm
known
actually-
anybody in my entire life to mix Buckfast with lemonade.
Can I
Or
just say
anything.
though, I'm going to leave it for when folk are around, but so I'm not just sitting myself getting
Drinking
canned
tonic
into a wee tinny, Buckfast, but the lemonade one was actually really tasty. It was quite refreshing, to be fair. So I'm in.
Good.
Did you try a Buckfast Negroni?
No.
We had one of them
You
in
need-
Glasgow, didn't we?
You need to try it. So you've got your can of Buckfast. So you need to get a measure of gin and mix it with a double measure of Buckfast with orange and ice and try that.
Game on.
Tell
Game
you
on.
what else is game on. That fucking frozen picture right there.
Freezeville.
Whack.
That's a good close pick.
Freezeville.
Lovely. The
Am I still frozen?
Oh, aye, heavy.
Heavy frozen.
I like Elsa.
Let it go, mate.
I'm just leaving it. I'm let it run. I'll
Can I
catch
tell
up.
you what I'm drinking, please?
Yes, sorry, Scott.
That's all right. So this is a collaboration between, you're talking about kind of heavyweights. I've not heard many of these other than the top, but I'm going to go and look them up afterwards because this beer's excellent. This is a collaboration between Omnipollo, the Eight State Brewing Company, Brewhouse, and Troon, which, being Scottish, I know Troon the place. I doubt it's the breweries for there, very much so. This beer is called Graveyard Shift. I don't even know what I'm doing next Friday. It's a hoppy double IPA. It's a 5th birthday beer for Eight State Brewing Company, enthusiastically crafted. That's how he's totally fallen over at the sound of this beer. It's cracking. It is another beer where they didn't tell you what's in it. I can tell you that it's 8.2%. It looks like fresh orange juice, and it's absolutely excellent.
Let's have a swatch. Have a swatch. Let's see that looks very bright.
Very tropical, very orange juicy.
I was going to say that's orange juice.
It's got that proper kind of Aussie New Zealand hop vibe to it. Very juicy.
Oh,
Another great beer. I've enjoyed the two that I've had for Omnipollo so far, and I'm looking forward to the last one I've got.
yeah. Talk
It's
about
just you seen they've got a collab with New Barns.
you cunt.
Sorry.
Ooh.
I was literally. You
Look at
stole
us
it.
reading, look at us. Look at us reading the news.
That's it.
Are you
Let's
going to
get
talk
that,
about what Fresh Ale is yet?
Oh well,
Oh, he's
we
in
will.
frozen. He blinked.
we'll get there. But I literally was going to say the exact same thing, Mark. Omnipollo and New Barns. Mate?
Can I just say,
A
and this
dark
is one
mild.
thing-
I think it's a dark mild they've done into it.
it's just a mild dire.
Oh, it's just a mild dire. It'll be dark.
It's been really refreshing recently to see the UK breweries collabing with heavyweights in the States and Europe and all the rest of it. So, and I was going to bring this up, because I know the guys at New Barns were off. Was that just last week or was it the week? But anyway, it doesn't really matter. But it is really refreshing. It shows you where the UK craft beer scene's going, because the guys at Flock were at Finback a few weeks back as well.
Yep.
Which, and I'm like, you're talking about all these names, and obviously they still need to produce beer, but it's just good to see.
Fucking Mashley's never out of America.
He's basically a resident there now, isn't he?
Taking over the
I
world.
know. I'm there all the time.
But as a brewery, you're not going to collaborate with someone who you don't respect and who you don't think is going to bring something to the party. Whether that be your, adding to your experience, helping you with things that you don't know.
Yeah.
So it can only be good things for these breweries to be collaborating. And it
Yeah.
says a lot for
It's
the
not-
craft beer industry in
Mhm.
Scotland and the UK that heavyweights like Omnipolo and the
Are
like
desperate.
are desperate to
Yeah.
come in and work with these guys.
It's the market that they're after, realistically, isn't it? You know, it's
100%.
opening the door, but like you say,
Well,
it's
also
mutually.
easy. I mean, it's definitely mutually beneficial. I mean, you look at New Barns in particular. Like, look at as much as some of their beers of late, we've kind of been with at times their use of weird grain
Yeah.
is something that everybody would want access to get
Do
access to
Omnipolo
some of
need
that
that
knowledge and
though?
stuff. Aye,
They're already so I mean I suppose
because
to some extent.
they want to just learn
Oh,
as
it's
much
all
as they
learning,
can, and
though.
it's another process they'll not know about.
Question though, and you guys need to tell me, is that Omnipolo beer still available in Morrison's up there? I know it's still doing. I know I've seen it. I've still seen it
What
down
one?
here. I seen it last week. It was a stout they had in Morrison's.
With a smiley face.
Aye, we got dead excited about it when it came out, and then
Aye, I went racing or the
Yes,
That was
That's
like
the one.
2 years ago, wasn't it?
But then-
I know I'm saying
But
is
that's-
is you still get it up there? That's what I'm asking.
No, they brought it out again.
Right,
Okay.
aye. So it's they've still got it. It's still available down here. I'm going to put things back on track because I mentioned at the start that we're going to talk about fresh ale and what the fuck it is. And I want to make sure we finish
You've
with it
talked about
because
fuck all, by the way. You're absolutely ridiculous.
no, I know. And everything we've mentioned, I've no fucking.
We've
talked
totally
about.
derailed your conversation point at every pause. If we've not stole your thunder, we've fucking veered away onto something
Aye.
different
I was-
every
no,
single
I'm going to.
you've tried.
I
So
would assume
for
that
one-
is the exact podcast in general, though. That's
No,
like
it
the
is,
whole
it is
premise
though.
behind it.
But if I say something at the
I
start, I
mean-
need to make sure we fucking at least follow through it.
Aye,
Okay.
well, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm dead pissed off about the traffic lights at the Deepbone roundabout.
One round about you, cock.
Fresh ale. Fresh ale is.
Aye,
What is a fresh ale?
Aye. What is a fresh? What
Well,
is a fresh ale?
that's the question. So
This ice is freezing.
I'm going to
Oh.
fucking stab you.
What is hash browns?
What is hash brown? It's in the same thing. That's the four corners in it. That's the compass. What is fresh ale? What is hash
What is
browns?
fresh ale?
This ice is freezing.
It's up there, and it's a perfect time for my phone to be a little. So Otter Brewery last year, 12 months ago, launched beer called Fresh Ale. It's been picked up by Carlsberg and Marston's, and they're going to end up doing the same thing. And Otter are like, oh yes, we've came up with this idea, we're going to fucking run with it. And it's a case of what actually is fresh ale, because it's clearly going to be a hybrid. And then
It's not just
the-
cask.
it's cask. It is cask, but it's
Older.
just no.
No, it's just what we spoke about the other week, Gav.
Is it
This
keg?
is
Yeah,
beer through a
yeah,
hand
it's,
roll?
it's
Is
that
that what it
exact.
is?
It's the exact thing. It's modern fucking.
it's
cask.
the modernization of cask beer. It's someone has put a label on it. So
So what is it?
like,
Is it a cask or is it a keg? How does it work?
it's cask ale.
Science man.
Just cask.
So it's cask. It's no chilled. It's no.
Not according to what I've like. I just literally looked at fresh ale about 10 seconds ago. So you know, if the aggregators come out, they can run and jump. But basically, what I'm getting here is it's the production of to help produce better cask or increase the cask ale market, bridging the gap between craft beer, cask ale, and lager. So according to this, but again,
the article doesn't really pinpoint exactly where it fucking sits.
it's getting on this one here. It's getting pulled through a hand pump. If you know what I mean,
So
rather
it's
than
fucking cask then. It's just fucking cask. All you've done is just labelled the same stuff and just thought, oh, we'll just put a new name on it. I'm not saying you polish a turd, it's still a turd, but essentially I'm saying that. I'm not saying cask is shit, because cask is fucking tremendous. But just fucking nonsense. If you ask me.
So, according to this, fresh ale is not a live product like a cask ale is. So, obviously,
Right, so it's deed. It's just in a cask.
It's flat keg then.
It's basically kegged. So when the beer goes into a keg, it's obviously not live because obviously
it's done fermenting.
It's done fermenting, and they usually, for the most part, they will take the yeast out of cask beer by through filtration or pasteurization, whatever it is. And if it goes into a cask ale, it normally runs through a secondary fermentation, and that's why breweries use stuff like Isinglass and stuff to help strip and like reduce the yeast strain and like filter out all the crap. So according to this, they are basically whereas they're filtering out the yeast just like you would a keg product, but it's getting put through a cask. Fresh ale.
Right, so it's just getting isinglass before it goes in the cask then.
So it might not even like depends,
but that might Irish moss, whatever you want.
Because if it's hazy or whatever now, like you're getting away with more haze within cask beer.
They're removing the yeast.
You're taking the yeast out, which will obviously
and removing the opportunity for a secondary fermentation. You're saying that's it. When you put it in there, it's the end product, which I suppose then means that you don't have as much. Does that reduce the heft on that we've spoke about at length before, that the best cask beer is looked after by the best cask pubs? Does it open up cask as a market to folk with dildos behind the bar who don't look after cask beer? Does it open that opportunity up to them because they don't have to look after it because it's got all the guff with it? Mark.
Sorry, I'm reading. Sorry, mate. I was like totally like I just got off in the wee bit in
here about. Is it cask for dummies? Is it effectively is that?
Sounds like it.
In terms of pouring and care.
It's getting run through the natural cask system anyway, according to what I'm reading here. So it's not going through a chiller. It's getting poured between 8 and 10 degrees, which you would expect a good cask pub to basically just run it through, and it's obviously not getting carbed. So it's everything that I'm reading here. I say I'm scanning this really quickly. I say it would be quite interesting to read more, but it sounds like it's cask beer that has been filtered, as in stripped. The yeast is stripped out it, and then before it hits the cask, and then it's getting poured from there. So,
but no, it's alligator time.
Yeah, that's not a cask beer, mate. That's
fucking heaven.
Okay, let's just imagine that was on cask.
Oh, mate. That would be coming full circle to our conversation. That's a tenner a pint on.
Oh, but I'd pay it. I'd easy pay
100%. 100%.
Fucking pay it in a heartbeat.
I had this conversation. I know we're coming back. Sorry to like that, but I feel like instead of us tangenting off, Gav, but I had this conversation today.
As my last thing on the list, you're fine.
And and it's quite. I suppose it's quite handy. But like, what's the cutoff with pint pricing? Because we're going to hit tenner a pint, easy.
Yeah.
We're going to hit tenner. It's like within the next 3 years, and what I think will happen is it'll come up, and then the pubs will die basically. 11 quid a pint. Here we go.
In London,
Unity supercalifragilistic.
Honestly, in London, see if you're not even London, to be fair. See, even down here, where I'm at.
That's a dipper. Normally, a dipper would be served in a 2/3, though. Realistically, let's be honest.
True.
And you would probably still spend 7 or 8 quid on a 2/3.
Fair.
So a pint is, but so I'm playing this with two hats on here, right? Because I think there's two markets to it. Because we as craft beer geeks and wankers have put our hand in our pocket for bigger, more flavoursome beers at a far bigger cost than the Joe Blogs, Joe Public that would go into a bar looking for a couple of pints of Moretti, Star, whatever it is, right? Yeah. Because and so there's two differences here. So but I want you to think about it from a more of a, because I suppose let's put it from both perspectives. You know, would you spend a tenner on a pint of Cask Sonoma? No. Right, okay, that's good. So this is the whole point. This is me. I've got like 5 beers written down, and I was like, no, the higher or lower aspect of it. But so Sonoma was
got a game.
Well, Kenny, but I had wrote a few beers down, if you know what I mean, thinking main hitters and the tenor, because. But then I said, well, my next question then, if I stick with Sonoma, is I'm going with cask or keg beer, so you can play it however you want. Would you spend £7 on it?
On what? Sorry,
Sonoma.
On cask.
Cask or keg, whatever you feel is the premium option.
But it's 3.2 in it or 3.4.
3.4%.
No. Not even spending your money, I would.
No, I don't think so.
So 7 was where I said I would pay it. Like if I knew it was looked after, I said, look, I think that's I'm 7 up. I'm sure we could get away with that. No, you wouldn't, David. You wouldn't.
You would.
Nah.
You would get it if you asked for it. I mean, if you asked for it,
you would get it if you asked for it. At that room, you would get it if you asked for it, but they wouldn't have it as a serving suggestion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody who's ever read the back of a cereal packet knows exactly what I mean by serving suggestion.
So anyway, so 7. So you swing to pay 7, right? But I'm trying to think. I don't know what it costs, and we can throw that to our Discord and John, because he was in Manchester recently, so he might have a rough estimate of how much.
What is Discord?
Should we be worried?
No, you two are just fucking out of touch with the world.
Anyway, we're not going to do that.
All right with that.
Aye.
Is it a vibrant chat community?
This is a vibrant chat of beer fridge podcast lovers and enthusiasts who chat through their beer journeys.
That's it.
Do you play the PlayStation?
I think so.
Anyways,
I love the PlayStation.
Some good. There was good updates at the weekend.
But see, that's it. If we get
for
stuff,
the PlayStation,
we get stuff
for the Discord.
The Discord.
Discord. So, just Sonoma. So, putting that into perspective, I suppose, how much we? So, I'm going to stick with a tenner. I'm guessing it's going to be a quick no anyway. But I had Fierce's new IPA, 6.5%.
Tenner? Nope.
Tenner. No. Okay, fine. £7?
Nope. No offense to Fierce, I'm not paying £7 a pint.
Anybody else?
What beer? Sorry.
So I've just got.
I missed the beer name. It's Fierce IPA.
It's just the name. I can't remember the name of it, but 6.5%, brand new.
No, late shift.
Would you spend
7?
650.
650.
So you pay 650, but this is
75. I'm just out of principle on not paying or £7.
I probably wouldn't pay. Nah, to be fair, I was in Edinburgh. I paid $6.20 for a pint of Stewart's Nitro 80 shilling, so I'd probably spend £7 on a pint of late shift.
When you're pissed, you don't know.
So, because this is the point I was making.
6.5% rocket fuel. So that's.
But this is where I'm getting to. We're at that point where you are, if you're maybe not happy about it, but it is.
Well, here's so the question to ask there, off the back of what you just said there, Mark. What was? Because I can't remember Jack's sugar from that night. That night that we were in Edinburgh.
What are the signs left?
I've got all that. And we had the Phantasm. I'm sure we had pints in it.
Callum will tell you because he swallowed his wallet. I think after that came in.
How much was that a pint?
How much was Phantasm a pint?
You were at least £8 something.
That was about £8. Yeah.
There's your answer to all your questions right there. Because we were happy.
I don't know if you were happy about it.
Well,
But the offer was
I think 3 years were at best mildly amused. 1 year was early moon. 1 year was played 9 holes.
But this is the point I'm coming back to and coming round to is that like obviously it depends on the style of beer and la di da 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 da. But when you so that's us who are craft beer aware. Now imagine like the Joe Punter who is talking about Staropramen and Tennants. And
you coined a phrase there, craft beer aware.
Craft beer aware.
To be
You like
craft
that?
beer aware. I did like that. That was good.
Yeah.
Craft beer aware.
I'm
It's
right.
away from wankers and geeks. That was craft beer aware.
You said it that quickly. Craft beer aware.
But that's why that's my
that's your marketing terminology, isn't it?
That's my mark. That's mark during the day while talking to people.
That's come straight out of a PowerPoint presentation.
1000%.
That's been tagged to a pie chart every couple of times.
Straight out the deck, exactly. But it is just quite an interesting topic, and I said that I actually said that to somebody today. They were talking about Tennant's Lager, and they said to me, we'll just never take it out the pub. It's ingrained in our pub and like the people that drink here. And I said, what happens if it got to the stage where you had to charge £8 for it? No chance. And I was like, but I was like, but tenants have got every right to put the price to whatever because they have a monopoly and they'll never maybe hit £8. But and he was like, oh, and it got people thinking about it a bit more. So anyway, just
that's quite
CBA.
I seen a weird thing the other day, and I think it might, or there was the day, and it might work for the craft beer industry actually, every now and again, or a macro that might decide to go crafty as a result. That it was a guy was talking, some economist guy was talking about someone who tried a marketeer or something about KFC in South Africa. And KFC in South Africa had their product or whatever, it wasn't selling. And they were like, well, what we'll do is we'll decrease the price. And that'll sell it. But that's the least cost-effective way of selling their product.
Mm-hmm.
It's always automatically going to hit you. He says you should try putting the price up. He's like, what do you mean putting the price up? He says, if you put the price up, it still doesn't sell. What have you lost? If you put the price down and it still doesn't sell, you've put the price down and you've devalued your product. So why not increase the price? And increasing the price and making it feel more exclusive, actually, made it more, increased the demand, which increased the how people saw the product, and then people sought after it. Went after it. I think how hard Stella worked to try and move away from wife beater or whatever. I mean, and now look at 1664 Blanc, which I mentioned earlier, has now come back in as this weird craze thing, and I bet it's a wee bit more expensive, and I bet the bottles and everything look a wee bit more refined. I bet the packaging's a bit slightly more refined. But 1664 for me, I don't know about you guys, but 1664 was always absolute detritus. And
Kronenbourg Blanc.
I don't think. It was probably, but now they've waited long enough to bring it back, and it's probably got that. It's not going to be sold like a supermarket beer for them.
No.
It's going to be sold like you see how it's probably a demand thing. They're probably throttling supermarket supply of that because everybody's rating about looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it'll get to a point whereby they have it out there in a decent amount of demand. But it just made me think about craft beer stuff where you could probably turn, if you wanted to, a macro back into something a bit more refined and a bit more crafty. If you increase the price and change the packaging ever so slightly, you could demand a higher price for it. Throttle the availability and make it that wee bit more refined. The craft beer aware might start to pick up on it as like it's a throwback thing or whatever. You were talking about Miller Genuine Draft. Imagine Miller Genuine Draft coming out in like fancy 500s, Year of the Lager type, for back to old school.
Perfect thing.
The other one that I always think about is if you got that in the UK with just because I'm an apologist, country music stuff is obviously, you've seen Beyonce, you've seen Post Malone, all this, that, and the next thing, we're doing kind of country stuff recently, various different awards. Coors Banquet. Coors Banquet is the Cowboys' beer of beers. If they brought Coors Banquet in the UK at the moment, folk would be falling over themselves to go and get it. Telling you now. And I bet it's mince.
No, it's just Coors, mate.
That would just be Coors.
Coors Banquet. But they could put the Bruin logo on it. They could put the Bruin papers on about it.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of goldy labeling, and put the cowboy or the steer on it that's got the Coors Banquet label's got, and sell Coors Light like that, and everybody would buy it.
100%.
Just absolutely insane. Folk would be falling over themselves, and it's just macro rubbish. Same with Miller High Life. If you brought Miller High Life out here, people would be falling over themselves to go and get it as well. And it's just Miller High Life. But the nostalgia and the old school, it's the same way Lone Star. The amount of times I've seen that thing on Instagram, Matthew McConaughey, where he's in is it True Detective or whatever, where he's in.
All right.
He gets the 4-pack of Lone Star, and he's right. Let's go. Folk would be falling over themselves to have all that stuff. Mental.
No, don't disagree, mate. Don't disagree.
Sorry, that was another weird tangent, but I was just thinking about.
No, see, but in fairness,
fight themselves over that stuff. Thought about buying a tenner a pint. What would spend? You see how desperate I am for a canny Sierra Nevada. I'll do terrible things for a canny Sierra Nevada. So you can only imagine what these gamers would be like over Coors Banquet or High Life.
No, exactly. No, full podcast has been full of tangents, which is not a bad thing whatsoever. We've been through some of the list of things that I had written down, but and then some. And I appreciate everyone that's been watching on Facebook and watching on Instagram. Facebook and YouTube. Excuse me. Well, we're doing this. We're doing a live one as well. So if you're listening to this after on Spotify or iTunes, by all means, jump over to those platforms as well, like, follow, and share. Drop us a 5-star rating. It does honestly help us out massively. So if you can do that, I'd be much appreciated. You also go to Patreon as well, patreon.com/Beer Fridge Podcast. Show your support for the Beer Fridge Podcast. We are crowdfunding for a new office chair for Mr. Muir. So feel free and get involved in that one as well. Next week on the podcast, we have got New Wharf Brewery joining us. That's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be an actually really good one. Actually, I feel like New Wharf have been smashing it out of the park recently with some amazing beers and getting involved in different podcasts and different platforms as well. So they'll be joining us next week on the podcast. So thoroughly looking forward to that. Right then, any last comments?
Squeaking or creaking. It's actually really, really. It's loads and loads and loads of wee farts. Loads and loads and loads of wee farts. That's what that is. If you were listening live, if you were watching live, sorry, and listening, I hope anyway. I hope the fuck you were doing something else at the same time. I would say this podcast biggest selling point is that it's very second screen friendly. It's the podcast that you play. You get us a viewer to listen while you're doing something else.
Speak for yourself, mate. Face to the radio, going.
Well, faces for radio. But I'm just meaning, please be doing something else. Tell me you were doing something constructive.
In fairness, in the last year and a half,
ridiculous.
We know a lot of people who are in the industry who will have us on the background whilst they're brewing beer. Just an FYI. So to those people, we appreciate you. We're making the delicious liquid. What the fuck happened to you, Cam? Liquid that we enjoy every single week. Like I said,
is it just me that's not listening to him?
No, Gav, we can't hear you.
You've died.
Oh, there he is. That's what happens when you pull wires out. Nah, he's not back. He's muted.
He's still on mute.
Just unmute yourself, you'll be good.
Is that me better?
Yeah.
There you go. You're back with us.
He's back in the room.
I got that excited that I managed to flick my wire.
You flicked your bean right out of there.
Exactly. Until next time on the podcast, the home of real beer, real breweries, real opinions. Flick your wire. Goodbye.